Ladies and gentlemen, bid you all a fond welcome back to Gothic. You'll have to forgive me for being a tad sick today, but I don't want to take too much longer in posting these videos since I have been a little slow as of late in the uploads. So hopefully I can kind of soldier through this. Now, a lot of people have been kind of criticizing me for not using the Death to the Undead spell as much, so we shall remedy that for here. Now, the Pyrokinesis spell might be useful in some of the later parts of this level, but it seems to have a limited to trivial effect on Undead, so we kind of have to go without it for now. Ball Lightning might still be useful. There is a really difficult enemy that we're going to have to fight in just a moment here, who it's difficult to pull off any kind of spell against him, but it's possible that the Ball Lightning spell might stun him long enough for us to really do something special with him. Anyway, we need to go in here first, and this switch opens the way, and we see something standing there. Rather intimidating. This is an undead orc, and he is one of the warriors who was cursed with undead to guard the temple. And being undead, he is of course very susceptible to that spell. And that is going to make short work of many of the enemies in this level, which is why people have been telling me to use it so much. Got a couple potions in here. I smash. What was that? Oh, it's an axe. Interesting. Not really a great weapon to find in here. We found some much better ones in the meantime. Now, this is a puzzle I find altogether pretty annoying. I'm not really sure how to figure it out. It's possible the answer is a little bit more obvious than I realize. But we've got two switches and two symbols here. And it's hard for me to really say what these symbols are supposed to represent. We see what looks like kind of an arch, some kind of rays coming off of it. It looks like it's a bright orb on a black background. This is a black orb on a bright background. Almost looks like an eye. Now, I can't really say for sure how you're supposed to tell which one is the correct one, but if you pull the wrong one, you can imagine it would activate a rather unfortunate trap. Except I just pulled the right one, which I did not mean to do. Now, unfortunately, that sound sample follows you of the pillars going down in the distance there. So, it's going to be really loud. So what happens... Oh, well, I guess it just doesn't work anymore. I'm going to show you what happens if you pull the wrong one. So if you pull the wrong switch, the gate closes, and the ceiling here starts to fall. Now, there's a cave over there, you can hide in there, but it's even easier to just stand here. Now, the problem with the ceiling is that as soon as it touches you, you're dead. And that's the only way they could script this trap to work properly. So if you even, now that it's all the way down, if you even walk into it, you just bump the stone, you're dead. And I guess that's the only way they could actually get the script to work. So, you know, I don't know why I did the wrong one again. Since the ceiling doesn't go all the way down, kind of begs the question, you know, in reality, wouldn't your character simply be able to duck under it? Because the ceiling has to stop where the switches are. And so it stops right there. And, you know, just sitting down, your character could easily avoid this trap and wait for it to go back up. But nope, that's simply too logical. So once you're free of the thing, you can just safely step back under, pull the appropriate switch, and the way forward is revealed. Now I'm trying to remedy my cold with a big old cup of tea here, but I still have a very serious cough. I'm going to do my best to try and edit out all the coughs, the sniffs, any sneezes or anything like that. Unfortunately, it's just very, very uncomfortable. It figures, you know, the first week of genuinely brilliant weather we get, I have a nasty, nasty cold. On top of that, of course, with the weather being so nice, I also have serious pollen allergies. So altogether, the spring, or what's really about to be summer already, with all the terrible winter we had here, we almost skipped spring altogether. We had terrible stormy, snowy weather all the way through March, rain through April, and now suddenly it's like 85 degrees. Anyway, in here, you can kind of see him in the distance there, a real asshole. This guy is a huge problem because he has the pyrokinesis spell, which can effectively stun you. He can keep it going. He can't keep it going infinitely, but he can keep it going long enough that, and he can cast a spell for a few seconds, long enough to deplete a good chunk of your health, and then after that he will only pause long enough for maybe you to draw your weapon before he hits you again with it. So that's a huge problem. The robe of water protects us against fire, and so does this talisman here, so that might be a way we can ensure that we last a little bit longer against this guy. But basically, engaging him in melee or with the Death to Undead spell doesn't really seem to help, because, again, you can only hit him you have a very brief window to hit him, and casting spells takes longer than it takes him to cast the pyrokinesis spell, which I don't think works on him in turn. If we could pull it off first, it might actually help us a lot. So, I'll give it a try if all else fails. But the first thing I want to try is to see if I can just whack him with the ball lightning spell, and then maybe hit him with the Death to Undead. So it's wise to come into this room with your weapon of choice drawn, because he's immediately going to go into combat after this cutscene.
Mortal! You dare to disturb my peace? Prepare for the end!
It remains to be seen whose end it's going to be, you worm-bitten meatloaf.
Ooh, burn! Oh, got him. Oh, it missed! I don't believe it! Whoa, I'm not getting hurt. Oh, he can't hurt me! You poor sucker. I've got too much fire resistance. Why can't I target him with this? It doesn't make any sense. You know what? I don't think he counts as undead. Alright then. Oh, but he's still got high fire resistance, so that doesn't help. Alright, so I don't think he counts as undead, so I can't use the Death to Undead spell on him. Well, that's annoying. Well, now I've gotten him confused. Alright, well, I guess we've only really got one choice then. There we go. I might have just heard that the door actually went down, so that kind of traps us in here with him. And he's got a floating staff and a floating rune. Now that floating rune is actually kind of a glitch. When you kill any of the orc shamans, which, by the way, this guy is actually one of the undead shamans that Urshak told us about, one of the ones who summoned the sleeper and was cursed by him. And he has an interesting weapon on him. But yeah, when you kill the orc shamans, for some reason the rune of whatever spell they were casting just kind of floats above their corpse. It's just a weird glitch that they never fixed. And all shaman have one of these weird staffs, which I'm not sure you can even equip it. Oh, here it is. It's called a Grachsnak. And by God, that is a tremendous weapon. And it's completely useless as an actual weapon. I don't think it does any damage at all. Oh, it's got no damage value. But anyway, he dropped a sword, which is not a weapon you can wield. This was a sword of the undead orc priest Varric Hashor. The weapon has become useless in the course of time. Maybe the sword can be used in some other way. So the sword has multiple purposes in the puzzles of this temple. Here is a sacrificial altar, and it's not entirely clear what they did here. It's possible that they just kind of splayed out their victims and cut them open in a very Aztec kind of offering of the heart kind of ritual. But on the altar right now is a Death to Undead scroll, which can help any non-magic character player or anyone who's just not of the proper magical circle to use the rune. But given that they you only have one of them, you know, it's not really going to get you too far. So the strange shrine here in the bottom, what you got to do is place the sword in there, and of course it'll choose the proper sword automatically. So even in later cases where you have a shrine and only you have multiple swords, you don't know which one to use, it doesn't matter. The hero will by default use the proper one. So this is down back into the Minecrawler tunnel that we had seen before. We'll deal with that in a second. There is a reason we need to go down there later. But before we do that, these columns came down when we... Jesus, that scared me. These columns came down when we pulled the switch in the room over there. Now, this would be truly, truly annoying for anyone who has the acrobatic skill, which is another one of the reasons why I held off using it. Because getting onto these or any of the platforming around here is made much harder by the acrobatic skill because you jump so much further. That's very easy to just jump over the pillar without even trying to. Now, thankfully, the undead orcs in here are pretty stupid and have a very short aggro range. So it's easy to just kind of stand out of the way and use the Death to Undead spell on them. And just not have to worry about them coming after you too soon before you're really prepared for it. But I'm going to swap back to my high defense stuff, just in case we get some shit going down. Cast that on him, take him down right quick. There's another one down here. Just don't want him sneaking up on us. Fairly mindless little orc zombies, aren't they? And again, I guess that's what being a zombie is all about. There will be another priest in here, so I'm going to swap back to these. The priests do tend to use fire magic. I think at least another one of them will use the pyrokinesis spell, but they don't all use the same spell, so I can't remember what exactly this guy's going to end up using. But we should have our ball lightning spell prepared in any case. So I think he's got a lightning spell as well.
Your travels end here with me.
I'll send you traveling first, you moldy maggot's idea of paradise.
Well put, my friend. Oh wow, he does not take damage from that at all. Oh, he's got the chain lightning spell. Alright, well this doesn't work. Ah, he's resistant to this. Ah, and he's resistant to this too. God, what do I do? Thankfully he does like very little damage. Goodness sake, man. Give it a rest, will ya? Alright, so melee is the only way I could deal with that guy, but thankfully we were very resistant to his magic. And he gave us the Chain Lightning Rune, so that might be helpful against some of the creatures down here, but he had a very high resistance to magic, so I'm not really sure any more appropriate magical means to deal with him. And he also dropped another one of the broken swords, the Blade of Time. So, once again, the English translation of this game really comes to shine down here. And the hero's voice actor is just... I mean, this is Emmy material here, really. Now, this is where it is important that you've held on to some kind of bow the entire game. And this isn't the only place for it either. See, there's a switch on the far side there. You can't actually target it in any obvious way, but as long as you have a ranged weapon, he will seek it out automatically. You can already see he's aiming at one of the plates on the wall there. By shooting that, apparently we just closed the gate, is what we did. But by shooting it, we open the gate down here. And you can see down there some holes in the ground. That is a spike trap. And thankfully, I don't think it's active when you jump down here, so you can actually safely avoid it. But this sarcophagus here, which is kind of hard to see, but I will pull out a torch to make it a bit more clear. The sarcophagus here has a little gem in the center, and pressing this gem will open the gate that leads us back out of the room, but it also activates this spike trap, if I recall correctly. So if we step on it... Oh, no, I'm mistaken. Weird, I don't know why they put this here then. But there are mummies around here, who again contain potions as the ones in the orc cemetery did. These ones are very, very powerful. And some of these I'm going to hang on to, because in particular the mana ones, because I think you can get an instructor to teach you up to 100 of any stat. So I'm going to save these potions until after I get 100 mana from a teacher, and that way I can use the potions to go beyond 100 and have a huge surplus of mana. So anyway, that's the second Undead Priest. He was actually quite a bit easier than the first one. The first one we didn't really... I mean, the first one wasn't difficult at all because we had a high resistance to fire that made his pyrokinesis spell superfluous, really. But, regardless, we now are going to press forward. I'm going to top myself off with some mana. I'll take the some of these more potent potions. Dexterity one doesn't really matter. Save the spirit ones. Take the strength one. Give us a slight damage boost. But down here is where we are going to meet one of several enemies who are really what make this the most difficult final dungeon in any game I've ever played. Also, these orcs drop the Crushed Karok, which is just a warhammer, not a very powerful one. But they are the only orcs in the entire game who wield that weapon. I don't believe there are any more orcs around here. Occasionally a mine crawler will make its way out here somehow. There's also a, there's also a point later where they will spawn. Yeah, so our mine crawler is floating about, and you can see a fellow standing over there. And that guy... The mine crawlers completely ignore him. They don't care about him. But he is very, very annoying. You can see he's actually a Templar. He's one of the Templars, as we will find out, who left the Brotherhood with Kor Kalam to try and find the Sleeper on their own. And they are by far the most dangerous enemies in this game. Now, for some reason, he freaks out when we fight these guys, which is why I want to lure them away from him. I can't remember if he'll attack them or if he'll attack us, but either way, that will put him closer to us than I want him to be right now. So I'll switch back to my high physical defense armor. Top myself off with some heat points. And we'll try to figure out a way to properly deal with this fellow. What might help would be one of these to make a quick escape. But I don't know if any of my spells right now will actually have a sincere effect on this guy. And unfortunately, you can't do what I did with the orc undead shamans by approaching with a weapon drawn, because you have to talk to him before you can damage him, I think.
Get lost! You aren't wanted here!
And you are gonna stop me?
Yes, I will stop you! You won't prevent Master Callum from awakening the Sleeper. Don't try to attack me! The High Priest has transferred part of his powers to Master Callum and us. Now we are immortal.
I'll show you how immortal you are.
Prepare to meet your creator.
Alright, so that did no damage to him. Let's see if the pyrokinesis can help. Nope, does nothing. Bugger. I gotta find something else. Halt! I said halt! Oh, goodness. Hyah! A storm of fire might do it. Oh, no, that does nothing whatsoever. Oh, wow, that really worked. Never mind. So, this is the strategy that my friend Dark Angel was encouraging me to use. And boy, howdy, does it help down here. This guy got stuck, I think. Why did you put your sword away, you stupid fool? Ah, still got the green novices, though. Of course, it's their only communication with the Sleeper. Alright, so this entire chamber here is one big puzzle. And we will deal with that momentarily, because I want to take on what's down here first. This is, once again, the Minecrawler Tunnel. Alright, so let's have at some of these here beastly bugs. Oh, the potion just wore off right then. No matter. Not as concerned about being able to escape from these guys. They're not as much of a threat as the Templars are. I suppose I could demonstrate just how deadly the Templars are. But generally, anytime I've ever come here, the Templars have had a habit of, you know, as soon as they land one hit on me, I am dead. Because they'll get like a 3-hit combo that I cannot avoid. And, you know, I'll just end up in pieces on the ground before they stab me to death. Bah! I'm covered in your own armor. You cannot harm me. There's only really those two mine crawlers down here. Then there's orc face up here. He's a little too confused to actually be able to engage us. Yeah, caught him in midair. And up here are a bunch of skeletons. Or there will be. Right now there's just that fool. Now he's a dead fool. And here we have some skeletons. And I don't have enough time to actually cast a spell before they can hit me, so... Get back here, you son of a bitch. God, the one I actually was trying to kill was most cowardly. Get back here, son of a bitch. Another warrior. Just trying to kill the warriors because they do the most damage. And that, my friends, is that. Here is actually one of the more annoying puzzles. I don't really remember how much of a puzzle this really is. Oh, you sneaky bastard. Basically, we have 3 switches here. And there's nothing to really indicate which is the proper order to actually switch them. But I'm also not sure there is a proper order to them. But the problem is that when you flip the switches, and apparently you can only do it from this side, it will spawn a demon. Now, thankfully, at this stage of the game, we are more than a match for these lesser demons. Make sure you look around and grab the potions. Those will be helpful later on. Or now, depending on your circumstances. So 2 of the switches will spawn demons, and the third switch will spawn... Ow. Third switch will actually spawn the orc shaman. Give ourselves a little boost there. And I don't remember what spells this shaman is going to use. But whatever it is, I'm sure we'll be ready for it. Oh, he's got the chain lightning spell again.
An infidel in the house of the master. Damned be you.
You be damned, you stinky moldy carpet.
Ha! This guy's just full of sick burns, brah. Oh no, that's not the oh goodness. That's not the chain lightning, that's the ball lightning. Which is a bit more dangerous, but not a huge concern. And he's got the blade of light. Which once more we plunge into the shrine here. And our way forward is revealed. Now, it might just seem like you can avoid a lot of these shamans, but the truth is, killing them is not really what we need. It's their swords that we need. And of course, that truth is not really revealed until later, but it is handy to collect them all on the way. So, basically, that jumping puzzle with the columns up above, if you do have the acrobatic skill, it is not the end of the world. If you can't actually get up there, I'm not even sure why they went through the trouble of actually making that puzzle. Because, of course, you can just come through the tunnel and get up here, and then go take care of that. Anyway, here is where things get a bit more complicated. You can see a lot of blood spatter on the walls, a lot of holes on the floor, some skeletons. Definitely not very encouraging. As soon as we enter, well, the walls don't come down, but what is going to happen, we have to hit that switch there, and as you can imagine from the fact that it's shaped like a target, we have to shoot it. The only way you're going to be safe is if you shoot it from outside. Otherwise, you're trapped inside with the spikes. And shooting that target and activating the trap we'll also bring down this wall here, which opens yet another switch. And this switch also needs to be shut. Shooting that one does not actually open any traps, but it does open the gates here. Now, if you're having trouble hitting that, you just have to keep adjusting your position. Like, if you feel like you shot it and the gates didn't open, that little cutscene didn't trigger, you might think that it's bugged, but in reality, the hitbox on that target is a bit strange, and the opening that you shoot it through, there's some like weird collision issues there, so sometimes you think you got a clear shot at it and you really don't. So just keep readjusting your position until you can actually hit it. That's what I found when I was doing my test run of this game, at least. Now, this is an interesting puzzle, because it does look kind of familiar. We've seen these emblems before in the first area. The weird thing is that one of them is different. Instead of the purple one with the crescent moon, we have this blue one with kind of like a... I'm not really sure what that is, like a water drop kind of emblem to it. And that might confuse you. You might initially think that you're supposed to do this the same way, but being that one of the emblems is different, you might think, oh, well, that can't be right. There's got to be a different solution to it. Hold up now, I don't remember these. Oh, snap! Wow! I don't believe it. I never knew about that. Goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, we learned something together today. So, the solution to the puzzle is right behind this wall here, and all you have to do is shoot the targets to reveal it. But in reality, it's basically the same as the first puzzle if you just replace the purple with the blue. Now, what happens is, if you pull these out of sequence, unlike the first one, I don't remember what happens if you pull the first puzzle out of sequence, to be honest. I don't know if anything happens, or if it's just like you have to start over. But if you pull this out of sequence, it spawns a demon. And it's not really a big deal. Wow, these guys hurt more than I thought they did. They don't have a lot of health, but they hurt. So yeah, you pull the red switch, the yellow switch, and then the blue switch. Pardon me, I've lost myself. Red switch, yellow switch, blue switch. Red fish, blue fish. And this here opens the gate that the Templar was previously guarding. So of course you have no choice but to try and get past the Templar. Which means we had no choice but to kill him. So, there are going to be more Templars down here, unfortunately, and they are altogether even more difficult to avoid. Yeah, if you're having trouble figuring out that puzzle for any reason, the answer is actually revealed on this wall here. You know, it shows two archers firing at the target emblem. And that's supposed to help you figure out how to approach these two puzzles here. But of course, that's on a faraway wall that you're not really looking at, and it's got Well, it's shrouded in darkness, so you can't even see it without a torch. There's kind of a hole in the wall there. I don't think there's anything really through there, because there's no easy way to get up there. But no matter. So down here we have more Templars, more undead orcs. Of course, the undead orcs are the least of our worries. But the Templars shall pose a much more significant threat. Kind of blows my mind that we've actually spent almost 20 hours in this game. Obviously, like, a good chunk of that was stuff that never made it on camera. For one reason or another. Often a lot of wandering around that I just removed. Did I just see a mine crawler, or was that a Templar? I saw something move down there. Basically, if we see a Templar, we're gonna have to haul ass out of here. We can take care of these orcs pretty easily. Just in case we do engage a Templar before I really want to, we'll have a potion in order. Sprint potion. Oh, there's a Templar. Alright, we gotta haul. Haul it! Alright then, you bastard. That was weird. Why did it just suddenly go with the mine soundtrack? And it just did it again. Where are you, bastard? Oh, he's still burning. I'm gonna take this opportunity to demonstrate how dangerous they are, though. While he's a little indisposed and we have a chance to save. So, if we try to engage him in melee... Oh, wow, we're actually strong enough now. Never mind. See, normally when I come down here, I'm not really in shape to deal with these guys, but... I don't think I usually go through the trouble of actually leveling up this much. I know a lot of people who, like, the way they play a game like this is to max out their character as much as possible before they even do anything. You got beef with me? Yeah, my friend Loannis Latham, who I keep forgetting I need to refer to as Mr. Latham. He was talking about how he goes through the old camp, loots everything, and basically gets his character to like 100 strength before he even gets into chapter 2. And that's a lot of effort to go through that early in the game, but if that's how you want to play it, go for it. It's just that altogether is almost game breaking for me, at least, because of like how much you're doing. Like, you go through all that effort and then really everything else is a cakewalk at that point. So really it oversimplifies the entire game as a result. Alright, so jumping down there, don't be too cavalier about it, because it can be a little difficult to get back up, and there are, of course, mine crawlers and now a Templar down there. I'm not really sure where the Templar ran off to. We got some healing spells, invincibility ring, another essence of strength. We'll quaff that strength potion. And take a look at that ring, see how it compares to some of the stuff we're wearing. We've got the ore skin ring. This does just as well as that, plus a lot more. So I'll take it. Goodness gracious. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed the video so far. We've obviously got a lot more to take care of down here. We shall do that, of course, with the next episode, beginning there. And that is where things, I mean, it's been a bit of a dungeon crawl thus far, but things will get a bit more interesting in the next episode. So, thank you all for watching. We will see you then.